Blake Lively just suffered one of the most humiliating courtroom defeats Hollywood has ever witnessed, and it's shaking the entertainment industry to its core. How did one of Hollywood's brightest stars end up publicly mocked by a federal judge, roasted online, and abandoned by her closest allies? What began as a typical Hollywood dispute has now escalated into a shocking PR catastrophe involving leaked recordings, CIA operatives, and potentially career-ending revelations. It all started on March 4, 2025, when Blake Lively confidently walked into a federal courtroom expecting victory over actor Justin Baldoni. Instead, she faced a devastating public defeat.
And was Justin didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress in it. And to the point where this guy was in the basement at his own movie's premiere. And where Ryan Reynolds allegedly bullied Justin so badly that a Sony representative, and her biggest takeaway was, it was so nasty.
Judge Lewis Lyman didn't just deny Blake's demands, he openly ridiculed her legal team for their incompetence. If Blake thought her Hollywood influence would sway the courtroom, she left humiliated and exposed. The drama peaked when Blake's attorneys demanded 2.5 years of Baldoni's private messages, GPS data, and personal emails. Judge Lyman swiftly shut it down as overly intrusive and absurdly disproportionate. He questioned whether Blake's lawyers even understood basic legal procedure. This blunt rejection foreshadowed a disaster that soon spiraled beyond control. So, what prompted these extreme demands? Blake accused Baldoni of orchestrating a smear campaign against her and husband Ryan Reynolds starting in August 2024, yet she demanded records dating back to early 2022. The judge highlighted the contradiction, using Blake's own claims against her. It wasn't merely embarrassing, it was devastating. As the spectacle intensified, Blake visibly panicked. She whispered frantically with her attorneys, her confident veneer gone. Witnesses described her as trembling, a stark contrast to her usual poise. Insiders watched in stunned disbelief as the Hollywood star crumbled under judicial scrutiny. Then came the leak that rocked Hollywood. A covert recording showed Blake and Ryan had directly orchestrated Baldoni's blacklisting. Ari Emanuel, a powerful entertainment figure, admitted he blacklisted Baldoni at Blake and Ryan's request, mocking the actor in private. The disclosure destroyed Blake's narrative of victimhood, painting her instead as a ruthless puppet master. Panicked, Blake hired former CIA operative Nick Shapiro, famous for involvement in major political scandals like the Hunter Biden laptop controversy. Why would an actress need an intelligence operative for a defamation case? The move only deepened public suspicion. Rumors spread that Blake was waging a covert war rather than presenting a solid legal argument. Within days, a negative piece attacking Baldoni appeared in the New York Times, eerily timed to Blake's hiring of Shapiro. The public connected the dots, suspecting her team pulled strings behind the scenes. Social media exploded, turning Blake's humiliation into a viral spectacle. Once hailed as a fashion icon, she suddenly became a meme, ridiculed for overreaching legal demands and stealthy PR maneuvers. One of the more striking angles involves the background of Nick Shapiro himself.
The judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request.
And the court said no.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got a big loss. Are her lawyers dumb?
As a former CIA operative, his career revolved around discreetly managing crises and shaping public perception on some of the country's biggest political controversies. Many found it surreal that an A-list actress would resort to leveraging government-level tactics for a private Hollywood feud. Conspiracy theories soon abounded online, some claiming Blake intended to dig up personal dirt on Baldoni from intelligence archives, while others suspected she might be orchestrating a full-blown disinformation campaign to smear him. Entertainment journalists, hungry for any new twist, began dissecting every move Shapiro made. They noted how mainstream outlets suddenly published near-identical talking points, criticizing Baldoni's credibility, suggesting a coordinated effort that reeked of manufactured consensus. Even longtime Hollywood PR veterans seemed taken aback, openly questioning whether Blake's strategy had veered into ethically murky territory well beyond standard industry spin. Fans, too, voiced alarm. People who once saw Blake as a relatable star were disturbed by her willingness to weaponize intelligence-style smear tactics. Social media posts questioned what deeper secrets might lie behind the actress's polished surface. especially if she was prepared to team up with a specialist in covert operations to protect her reputation. Many felt that if Blake believed her case was strong, she wouldn't need cloak and dagger PR maneuvers. Instead, her CIA connection came off like an admission of guilt, a last-ditch ploy to shape public opinion when facts alone might not suffice. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds, known for his humor and constant online engagement, vanished from public view. Insiders said he was panicking behind the scenes, terrified that Blake's meltdown could stain his own reputation. He offered no public defense, leaving Blake to fend for herself. Blake's Hollywood allies also deserted her. Taylor Swift, once a close friend, remained conspicuously silent. Industry heavyweights who once praised Blake dodged any mention of her name. TMZ reported that potential witnesses refused to testify, fearful of entanglement in the fiasco. Blake, once beloved, was turning toxic overnight. Judge Lyman sealed Blake's fate by limiting her subpoena to 4 months of Baldoni's data instead of the 2.5 years she'd demanded. It was a harsh rebuke, branding her as someone willing to exploit the legal system for personal vendettas. But why risk so much? Was Blake truly seeking justice, or was she terrified of what Baldoni might reveal? Area Manual's taped admission showed Blake and Ryan blacklisting Baldoni well before any alleged defamation, implying her lawsuit was a ploy to silence him. Legal analysts tore into court documents, exposing the case's shaky foundations. Public interest soared when Judge Lyman announced live broadcasts of future hearings. Millions would witness the drama directly, with no chance for PR spin. No more secrecy, every faltering argument and emotional reaction would play out for an audience hungry for real-time updates. Social media roiled with criticism. Memes mocking Blake's meltdown and her accusations of hypocrisy trended under hashtags like #Blake's downfall. She'd built a public image on empowerment, yet now she wielded her influence to intimidate and silence. Fans who once admired her felt betrayed. Compounding her troubles, old interviews surfaced of Blake boasting about controlling film narratives and misleading directors. These clips clashed with her feminist stance, painting her as a self-serving opportunist. Casting directors and producers began to question whether working with her was worth the backlash. Ryan Reynolds' silence amplified Blake's isolation. Known for witty posts and comedic flair, he now retreated, fueling rumors of private conflict. Speculation soared that he disagreed with her scorched earth tactics, but had been powerless to stop her. Regardless, his absence added to public suspicion that even he couldn't endorse her methods. Judge Lyman's pointed critique of Blake's strategy only worsened her predicament. Observers noted that her subpoenas resembled a fishing expedition more than a legitimate search for evidence. Far from exposing wrongdoing, the meltdown revealed her own manipulations and weaknesses. Blake's decision to hire Nick Shapiro loomed as a catastrophic PR gamble. Rather than restoring her credibility, it fueled conspiracy theories about espionage-level intimidation. Blogs and talk shows debated whether Shapiro manipulated tabloids to smear Baldoni. Each desperate move strengthened the view that Blake would stop at nothing to maintain control. The leaked Emanuel tape proved especially damaging. Hearing Hollywood's top agent mock Baldoni and credit Blake and Ryan for pushing him out removed all doubt that she was an innocent victim. Instead, she appeared as the instigator of a targeted takedown. Public sympathy shifted decisively to Baldoni, who suddenly seemed like a casualty of Hollywood's cutthroat politics. Social media backlash grew more intense, with critics labeling Blake a power abuser who exploited industry connections for revenge. Hashtags demanding fair treatment for Baldoni trended, solidifying him as an underdog hero. Meanwhile, anger toward Blake soared, fueled by the sense that she had lied about her victimhood. Ryan Reynolds' absence fanned the flames. Fans who once loved their playful banter on social media now wondered if their relationship was unraveling behind closed doors. Rumors circulated that Reynolds had tried to dissuade Blake from this legal crusade, but she refused. Regardless of the truth, the silence was damning for both. Blake's Hollywood allies vanished. Prominent personalities who once championed her success steered clear, hinting at how severely her stock had fallen. The girl squad that once embraced her was nowhere in sight. The industry is quick to drop a star who becomes a liability, and Blake fit that description more each day. As the next hearing approached, analysts predicted further humiliation. The live broadcast promised an unfiltered look at Blake's tactics. Some speculated that if she failed to produce new evidence, the case might collapse. Others wondered if Baldoni would file a countersuit seeking damages for career sabotage. Blake's past statements about empowerment now seemed hollow. She had weaponized the court system to bury Baldoni's side of the story, revealing the lengths she'd go to preserve her own image. Fans who once saw her as charming and relatable were disillusioned. Meanwhile, Baldoni gained support. Known for charitable work and uplifting messages, he emerged as a victim of Hollywood elitism. Friends praised his professionalism, contrasting sharply with Blake's ruthless approach. In the eyes of many, he was vindicated by Emanuel's tape and the judge's rulings. Blake Lively hadn't just lost a legal case, she'd triggered a career implosion. Her attempt to control the narrative backfired, driving the public decisively against her. Although Hollywood occasionally forgives, her widespread condemnation suggested a comeback might be impossible. Alliances were crumbling, her brand was tarnished, and her future looked bleak. Speculation persisted about Ryan's next move. Would he finally speak up to defend his wife, or continue distancing himself to rescue his own reputation? Fans wanted answers. Insiders whispered that he might already be exploring damage control strategies, aware that his image also hung in the balance. This saga stands as a stark cautionary tale for stars who think they can manipulate both the legal system and the media. Blake's CIA-level PR tactics, baseless subpoenas, and blacklisting conspiracy revealed a dark side that overshadowed any lingering goodwill. In a few short months, she went from adored celebrity to notorious cautionary example. All eyes now turn to the live hearings. Hollywood watchers anticipate a dramatic spectacle, with Blake's every objection and reaction broadcast for the world to judge. If more incriminating details surface, any remaining hope for her comeback may dissolve entirely. In an industry built on manufactured images, Blake Lively's downfall underscores a simple truth: no star is untouchable. Fame can evaporate when an audience senses deception. The harder she fights to shape the story, the more it slips through her grasp. Now she stands alone, watching her once golden reputation crumble under an avalanche of bad press and harsh realities. What began as a lawsuit has become a full-scale PR catastrophe. It may well be remembered as one of Hollywood's most spectacular self-inflicted scandals. Subscribe now. This explosive saga is far from over. The next hearing promises to reveal whether Blake can salvage any goodwill or if her downfall will be immortalized as a cautionary tale. As the countdown to the next hearing begins, Hollywood holds its breath. Will more revelations surface, or has Blake already sealed her fate beyond redemption?